Hey guys,
Hi everyone,
I'm Dane
I'm Laura.
and welcome to our channel Rip Ride Vlog It.
We thought we would do our top 5 favourite Halloween Horror Nights houses today. So this is for our all time, as in the events we've been to.
Yeah, so just to give you a bit of a disclaimer on that, I have been to just 2018 and 2019.
And I've been going since 2014, but I didn't go to 2016, so I'll be going through those ones.
Honestly, I'm so jealous that you've been to all these, especially the 25th. Like, you always just say, which was the best one? And you're just like, the 25th. Right.
No, that's why I really want this show to go ahead. So what I've got as number 5 on my list is Dollhouse of the Damned from HHN 24. This one creeped me out so much. This was my introduction to Halloween Horror Nights. I remember walking down, being absolutely terrified. If I remember rightly, the facade was amazing. It was like this neon, funky house with all doll parts on the outside and like baby bottles on the outside, and then you start walking through, and like I say, I hadn't really ever been through an experience like this before. It was so dark. I can remember the smells. There's like baby powder, but a funky baby powder smell. I remember there was this woman and she had like a doll head attached to her face, and she was like brushing the doll's hair saying, "Make you pretty," and it was all creepy. I just remember that was my first experience, and I was absolutely nearly running through that house. I try and take more things in now. If I could walk through that one again, I'd really like to, but no, I just remember there was like a big baby, I think that was in the powder smelling room, like mannequin ballerinas. There's just so many things that even all those years ago it still sticks in my head. So that'd be my number 5.
Nice, I'm really gutted I missed that one actually. It sounds really cool.
It was cool.
The thing that's number 5 on my list is Slaughter Cinema from HHN 28. For me, this was by a considerable distance the most entertaining queue line that I've been to at Horror Nights so far. Just to give you a bit of background as to what Slaughter Cinema was, you walked through the sets of various horror B-movies. It was just like you walked from different film to different film, and then before you entered each scene, there was a poster which said what the film was, and one of those cheesy horror announcers that are just like, for example, it was just like, "The Cult of the Beast Baby," and stuff like that, and it was really cool. It wasn't the one that gave me the most scares, and it wasn't the one that the set design was most impressive on whatsoever, but it was really likeable. I really liked the house.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
The Cult of the Beast Baby scene where all of the cloaks were turned away from you, and one of them was a real person, was really scary. The Swamp Yeti section of the house was there was a few really good scares in that, and I'm glad they adapted that the next year to be Terror of the Yukon house. And yeah, I mean, like I say, it was just a really enjoyable, likeable house for me. So that's why it's entered my list at number 5.
Awesome.
So for number 4, we actually turns out we actually put the same thing as number 4 for this one.
Yeah, we agree on this one.
Yeah, it's a rare thing. And yeah, it ended up being Dead Exposure Patient Zero.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, this house.
It was amazing. This was from Halloween Horror Nights 28. I remember this as the house that was just pitch black and strobe. It's, again, one that stays in my mind.
There was a lot of sensory deprivation going on in there. So it was zombie themed, and you walked in and they sprayed this chemical which caused temporary blindness. That was kind of the backstory to it.
I love that backstory. I love when they've got a bit that you can read about as well. That's something they did well with that one.
Yeah, it was the monkeys bit which I remember being like, it was really just, I couldn't see a thing, and it was the first Horror Nights I'd been to, and I just heard like, all I could hear was yeah, monkeys, not eagles. And yeah, it was just, that room alone really set the scene for that house.
Yeah, I remember seeing lots of cages and hearing the monkey sounds. And then for me as well, there was the train bit, like an underground type train, and it's, again, was it quite bright light?
There was strobe light.
Yeah,
it was darkness with strobe light.
A theme of that house, I think.
Yeah. And all throughout that house, it was just really dark. It was, it was one of the scary of the houses, I reckon.
Yeah, I think so. And yeah, I think it had the effect because of the strobe that it felt like they were getting closer to you. Was that part?
Yeah, so there was a dude with, he had a bar on his shoulders, and at the end of each one of the bar was like a zombie prop here and a zombie prop here, and then he would just he was in zombie makeup himself, and he would just kind of run at you, and then it would just go, ah! Yeah, so they had really good mirror effects in this house as well. It was just the way that they kind of used that optical illusion to make you kind of think you were surrounded by zombies on all sides. It was awesome.
Yeah, I'd find this house was completely disorientating because of all the strobe as well. I just remember getting to the other end, surprised that I'd made it through the house.
Yeah, we walked through it on our own because we like to do horror nights from like, I don't know, say typical night would be 8 p.m. till like 1 a.m. in the morning. So
yeah, we
we're
stayed
there
till
late.
close.
Yeah, we're there late. We walked through it on our own and that was amazing.
So number 3 on my list was Jack Presents 25 Years of Monsters and Mayhem. Now this one was magnificent. The facade was a giant Jack face, which was sort of the image for that year. It was all lit up sort of carnival style. They had each other icon as well on a little poster that was spinning around, and you go through the Jack face to go into the house. So that alone started it off amazing. What a house.
Yeah.
I wish I'd known more about it when I was going through it. My favourite catchphrase of every Halloween Horror Nights video that we do. But yeah, I wish I'd known a little bit more about the icons in the previous years. So there was Horror Nights Bear, there was the Room of Clowns, and remember some Jacks as well, as you'd expect, and these were the ones where they were all mannequins apart from a few which were scare actors, so they jump out at you, and another one of those types of rooms. There was a Nightingale from the original ones, a mixture of the Universal monsters. They had the other icons in there. It felt like a really long house as well. I felt like they packed so much into it, and then once you actually left it, you walked outside the house a bit, and then Meaty Meats was there with a chainsaw ready to get you. So from Leave It to Cleaver, it was just an incredible house, and I wish I could do it again. That's one thing I want to do that again.
Awesome. I want to do it just once. Coming in at number 3 for me is a house from Horror Nights 29, and can I just say that my number 2 and my number 3 could have gone either way on this one. But my number 3 is Graveyard Games. Graveyard Games, the backstory of that was there was a bunch of kind of punk teenagers going into a graveyard as a kind of a bit of fun for them, and they were going around vandalising like gravestones and stuff like that. I remember in the queue you could even scroll through Facebook when you had the app open. Do you remember that?
It was freaky that, yeah, they'd be like texting on Messenger.
Yeah.
It was quite creepy.
Yeah,
and when it was dark enough, they had the actual...
Yeah, they had the posts projected onto the side of the soundstage as well. This house for me was really well thought out all around. Like some of the scares, like for example, there was a section where you walked through and there was kind of 2 guys with creepy faces on either side of you as you walked through. And I've never been so got in a textbook kind of Horror Nights way. So basically I walked through, I seen the first face looking at me all crazy. I was like, oh, that's creepy. Look to the right and there's another one there, and I kind of a bit more animated went oh kind of thing, and then I looked back to the left, the first one's there again, and I was like the second one's there. When I turned back around to the right, and I was like and yeah, it really it shook me, man. Like it really got me. They used the lighting really well in this house as well. So they had kind of some of the teenagers hung up by vines where the graveyard had kind of come alive and caught them and stuff, and they had their phones kind of low battery signs, and they had posts on their phone, and you'd look at them and then all of a sudden there'd be a zombie here yeah. And there was a section you walked through as well where it was just complete blackness, and I know I said zombie exposure was dark, that was lit up by strobe light. This section was like complete pitch blackness, and you're kind of thinking, oh, where do I go, because it's a conga line but you can't see the person in front of you, so you kind of want to reach out to them, but you don't want to scare them at the same time. And I remember apologising to this woman, just saying, I'm sorry for grabbing you in there, by the way. Graveyard Games was a really enjoyable house. The facade was awesome, the sets were awesome, the scares were really well thought out, and yeah, my second favourite house of Halloween Horror Nights 29 for me.
Coming in at number 2, Scarecrow the Reaping. Now this is one that will haunt me forever, I think. It scared me to death, and I didn't even think I was going to make it through the house, and it's the only house I've ever been through where I didn't see myself getting out. I've got quite a big fear of sort of the scarecrow, sack head type things, and well, obviously I encountered a lot of those throughout the house. Now again, very dark house. I remember people jumping out from each and every side, but I also remember it from above as well. There's some sort of pig scarecrows at some point. But yeah, there was one bit that is the bit that stays with me. And there was someone jumped out to the left of me, someone jumped out to the right of me, and then someone jumped out from above me, and I just crouched down. And I thought, I can't get out. And Kelly had to help me out. This was 2017. She was just helping me through the rest of the house because I just stopped. I've never stopped before, but I just stopped in my tracks. But no, it stays with me as one of my absolute favourites. There were so many scares in that house. It was absolutely fantastic.
So, number 2 for me was Universal Monsters. And this house just tipped it over Graveyard Games for me, purely just because of the feeling that I had when I came out of the house the first time. So, as the name suggests, Universal Monsters is kind of a mashup of all of the different classic monsters from Universal Studios. So it's the likes of the Wolfman and Dracula, Frankenstein, and Creature from the Black Lagoon, and the Mummy, and the Bride of Frankenstein as well. Yeah, the facade on this house was awesome. You had all of the different monsters as statues as you walked in. And then for me, the set design in this house was absolutely incredible. I remember the Phantom of the Opera room, which was just full of mirrors, and it was just... The scare itself wasn't that jump scary, if you like.
He got me, to be fair.
Yeah.
The Phantom of the Opera, that was... Because the first run-through, Dane had the most amazing run-through, and I missed pretty much everyone. He got all the scares, I got none of them.
Sometimes it goes that way. It was the other way around with Ghostbusters, wasn't it? Yeah, and so he got me a couple of times as well, to be fair. But the bit I remember most in that house is where you walk past Dracula and he's eating a corpse and he just goes, "Devour them!" Like that's just such a cool moment that I always sometimes I just say it, don't I? Sometimes I just go, "Devour them." Weird. You were gotten really well by Bride of Frankenstein in that house, wasn't you? You got
screamed at
me. Yeah. Every time you walk through it, because I'd always be like, "We're going to do Universal Monsters," and every time you walk through it, you always like, "I want Bride of Frankenstein to scream."
And she did.
Yeah, she did. She finally did. Yeah. So just for the feeling I had, wasn't the scariest house ever, but just for the feeling that it gave me when I walked out of it each and every time, every single time I walked out of it, I was just like, "That's amazing. That's the best house of 29." That is. Coming in, number 1. So we share number 1 as well. If you are a massive Horror Nights fan, you might guess which one this one is.
So our number 1 is
Poltergeist. Yeah, this house was absolutely incredible.
Amazing.
Yeah,
cool.
So many varied scenes. So many, like, as Poltergeist has, so many varied, like, horror tropes. So there was clowns, there was demons, there was
spooky skeleton guy.
Yeah, the spooky skeleton people.
On his legs, I can't remember. I don't know if he has a name. If you know his name, put a comment down below.
Yeah, there were zombies.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, the beginning, the bit in the inside facade walk through their house, and it's what would you call that? The garden's all dug up.
So as you walk into the soundstage, you see the facade for the house, and then the house itself is actually above you, and then you can hear the main character from the show, can't you? What is? Do you want me to do it?
Yeah, it's your thing.
And then he goes, so you can hear the main character, and he says that line from the house, that line from the movie, which is so famous, which he goes, "You only move the headstones," and then he goes, "Ah!" Yeah, and
And it's really windy as well, because I remember it was the first night we were going that year, and I put all my makeup on, my eyelashes, fake eyelashes on as well, and it was so windy they nearly flapped off, so don't wear eyelashes again. I learnt my lesson.
Yeah, but there was what was some of the memorable scenes in it for you? Do you want to kick us off with a memorable scene?
Well, yeah, aside from the actual just purely walking in and being blown away, literally, there was the clowns. I know this is quite far into the house, but the clown sticks with me because clowns are creepy. And there was one bit where the stuff in the face was lots of like the teddy arms of the clown with the stripes. And then there was the giant clown head. There was the boy, I forgot his name, being attacked by the clown. There was the clowns on the ceiling. There's so many clowns.
So with clowns everywhere.
Clown.
And the design of like the tree coming through the window as well in the clown room was amazing. And yeah, I think the clown scene was one of my favourite as well, because there was like There was one clown which had like a normal sized like toy clown,
Yeah.
and it had like a high pitched cackle, and then you walk through the next room, and then there was a giant clown head. Like, so the first one was like going like and the second one was like yeah, it was so cool.
And then the scare actor also was the clown. Yeah, they featured that a lot. Oh, that was good. And then the skeleton guy, who we don't know his name, he featured quite a few times on stilts, and the puppet as well. That was...
Yeah, and then there was the actress who played the, what do you call that, an exorcist? Was she an exorcist?
It'd be...
She was like a supernatural consultant.
She says she was like cleansing the house.
Yeah.
Doesn't she say that at the end? Something like, your house is cleansed.
Yeah,
like that.
but like the actress who played her was like really close to the actual actress in the film.
Yeah, she
as
was
well.
awesome.
Yeah. And
that's one thing about Horror Nights, they cast so well. There was so many times where we thought, oh, they properly look like the actor, the character.
Yeah, the Strange Things house.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
For that. And there was the scene obviously with the young girl, I forget her name, staring at the static on the TV, and then being trapped inside the TV as well. And
you hear her voice like echoing out. And
yeah. Mommy, Daddy, where are you? Kind of thing. Yeah, it's awesome. This house is, for me, it was a kind of an easy number one, actually. Yeah,
I had to make a list. I was crossing things out. Nearly gave some honourable mentions, but it took me a while to make this list. But no, I thought it was spectacular. The whole thing, the scares, the set itself, the design, it was everything about it was just spot on. Absolutely amazing. A worthy number one.
Yeah.
Worthy winner.
Worthy winner, absolutely. Yeah, I think that rounds it off for us, guys. What are your top 5 houses? We'd be very interested to see what your opinions are on that, because I know people have such varied experiences, different.
Yeah, when have you been going since? So, like I say, I started in 2014, Dane started in 2018. When was your first year? And how do those houses compare to our list?
And with that being said, I think we'll round it off.
Yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, please do like and subscribe.
We'll have another video out next Sunday. Cheers, guys.
Bye.